Good to see you again, Lisa. Happy New Week.
Happy New Week. It was awesome to see you and the family in person.
Yeah, we got that in-person stuff going on, which I really love. I wanted to talk a little bit about today, something that I've been working on behind the scenes. I have this on my daily habitual growth list, and I'm actually reading a book about it as well, but it has to do with the timing of consuming specific information to get a better result, to essentially optimize kind of what you're consuming as you're listening to podcasts, reading material, all that good stuff. You know, I'm a person where I used to think that I definitely could do a lot of things. I could multitask. I, realized pretty early on, like that was not the case. And so I actually try not to do work when my kids are around so that I can focus. Like I actually, took a long plane ride last night, and I've got two kids on either side of me, and it's like I can do a little bit of reading, but I'm gonna get certain things done just because I need that time to truly focus and spend on my mind share. And that said, one of the things that I'm actually doing is I, have found myself really focusing on negative aspects of life sometimes. When I'm looking at FOMO and I see friends that are going out and succeeding or getting job promotions, they're making tons of money, and I'm trying to do my own thing in a different way, I do feel left out of that. And so I have this tendency to be like, well, what am I doing wrong? Or why is this not here? Or how am I spending my time? And so every day in my essential action list, one of the things that I've been doing now is I've been actually writing out 5 things that I accomplished that day. And it's not gratitude. It's not a blessing. The sun is shining and all that stuff, but it's really where did you spend your time? Why did that make a difference for you? You accomplished something, even if you're not framing it in the right way. But I do it right before I go to bed, so that when I do go to bed, those are the things that I think about versus trying to do it in the middle of the day. Even if I'm proud of something, I like to actually recap my day. And then that helps me reduce stress, reduce anxiety, all that good stuff, heading into what hopefully is a good resting period for that night.
Yeah, absolutely. No, and you and I are reading the same book, and which is awesome. We should do this more often because we have things to talk about. But I think it's true. In one of the elements that he talks about in that book is meditating or visualizing right before you go to bed, because it's the last thing that your mind thinks about. Mm-hmm. And then as you fall asleep, your subconscious goes to work to basically create a solution about how it's going to get you from where you are today to what you are visualizing as success in the future. And I think what you're talking about too actually fits in with that, because you are framing your mindset before you go to bed around the things that are going well, that have moved you forward, that are leading you closer towards your goals, which then just gives your subconscious the springboard to begin to think about things overnight while you're sleeping and how it can help continue to move those things forward or bring other things into your life that would augment them or create opportunity. I know a lot of people read before bed, do other things before bed, but you brought up a great point around timing. And I think bed is what we traditionally think, but then there's also our own individual optimized times of when we consume content. So for me, I like to read before bed. I will not remember anything because I'm going to fall completely asleep, or I'll get distracted, or my husband will come in and want to chat. And so for me, reading has to be its own dedicated time during the day, right away in the morning, but when I can actually sit down and focus and then use that time to deep dive and go a step deeper, highlighting, writing other ideas that come alongside the reading component that I'm doing. And so optimizing your content or your learning, not only in ways that your subconscious can support you, but also ways that you are actually going to benefit from it. So it's less about the action and more about actually doing the action to get something out of it.
Yeah. I think that latter piece that you just said is extremely important. It's when can you optimize your time to make it the most effective? Because again, even if it's on your habitual growth list, it's on your essential action list, we want you to be intentful with that time, not just to do it to get through it, right? As we always say, it's not a to-do list. Yes, you're accomplishing something, you're conquering your day, but at the end of the day, you're doing it because it is going to move you forward. It's going to move your business forward as quickly as possible. And so it's interesting to hear you talk about visualizing at the end of the day. I find if I try to do that, I actually just fall asleep. It's when we were doing 75 Hard, it was the same thing. I also can't read at night because I won't remember it. There's been numerous times when I was doing the 75 Hard program and I was trying to read my 10 pages right before I went to bed. I'd get through 3 or 4 pages and I would just be asleep, and then I'd wake up and I'd have to reread. I would never actually make it through the 10 pages until I got out of bed and actually read it. I found now in my routine, something that's really helpful is I will actually visualize in the morning because that structure really works for me. I'll try to get up a little bit earlier before the kids, before Bree gets up, and just have a little bit of quiet time so that I could get my mind in the right space. And I actually found that works really, really well for me, even if I'm not like fully motivated to go do something physical like working out. If I can spend some time with God, if I can visualize, have a cup of coffee within a 30-minute, 45-minute window, that to me really sets my day apart.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I do something similar. I started saying a morning prayer. So sometimes my devotional ping pongs throughout the day, whatever I can fit it in. But the morning prayer is actually before I even get out of bed. So it's the time between my first alarm and the second and the snooze that goes off because I am still working on that habit. But it's actually become a routine that I enjoy, which is now I've got 8 minutes where I will spend time preemptively asking God to bless the day and thanking him for all the things that are going to come into my life that are leading me further in the direction that he wants me to go and that are closer to my goals. And I find that framework, probably similar to you, shifts the entire mindset about the day. So even if I step out of bed and the dog is barfed on the carpet, it's not a day breaker anymore. It's somehow created the shield of mindset that there are good things that are going to come, which make me more open. In all seriousness, make me more open to possibility and getting through uncomfortable things or through my essential actions list more effectively than if I just get up and go and then almost save all of the mindset work to the end of the day.
Yeah, for sure. And that's that you mentioned something about it's not like a day breaker anymore, unless you step in it, of course, then there's no recovery from that. But it's funny because Philip, one of our friends and HG users, talks about, he actually just put this post on social media. It's like, how do you like reset your day? And I've also like, I will save certain things as well to like, if the day is really going sideways, what can I do? Can I get a workout in? If I haven't read my 10 pages, can I read my 10 pages then? I find it hard if my day truly is going sideways that I can't visualize. Like, it's just so hard for me to like get into that deep state, with enough peace on or buffer on both ends. So I'll do something small. Maybe I'll say a little prayer. Maybe I'll read through my goal list, something like that. I'll kind of reset myself so that a negative conversation, a negative experience doesn't actually carry into anything else.
Yeah, absolutely. What about learning a new skill? So how do you time that? So outside of, reading can be seen as that, but a lot of people are working to develop maybe a skill they can use in their professional career or in their business, or they're learning to speak a second language. Have you found an optimal timing to be able to actually learn a new skill that's separate from true mindset work?
So I haven't found a timing necessarily like in my day that it's been most impactful. I think it really depends on the day, at least for me, right? And that's not as powerful as like doing Duolingo right before I go to bed, right? So you can retain it. Would that work better? More than likely, yes. And I think research proves that time and time again. But at the end of the day, I've reserved that for something I think is a little bit more powerful in terms of my own personal hierarchy. But what I would say that has been beneficial is I will time block something. I will say, here's 30 minutes in my day. I'm going to step away from my computer, or I'm going to put my phone down, or whatever it is. And I will just use the 30 minutes specifically for the first, at least 2 weeks, if not 3 weeks, to just, this is fully dedicated to this thing to get into the habit, to make sure that I'm optimizing those neural pathways as quickly as I can, because it is a new behavior. It's a new process. It's a new system, whatever. And it really needs to stick. And if you're doing that half-ass, it's going to be really hard to come back from that.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's exactly what I wanted you to say.
What about you?
Well, I think before I answer that, I think so many people just default to the right before bed, and then they start to stack up all these things that have to get done right before bed. And the day can get busy, or they can feel overwhelmed, or they're absolutely exhausted, and then they end up not getting through it. So I love that you said you reserve the right before bed things to the ones that are the most important to you, to whatever you're working on, and then you time block others. I would say I'm similar in that, so if I'm learning, you and I were talking about a new skill that I'm working on now, and so I will actually create space in the day to dedicate to that. Some days it's probably more like 15 minutes because that's all I have to spare, and some days, it's 2 hours and I can go in a little bit deeper. So I don't necessarily limit the time to be consistent as much as I do the effort, and intentionally taking that a block of time consistently every day towards whatever new skill. That being said, also think people miss out on the opportunity to use movement as a way to synergistically promote the subconscious aspect as well. So sometimes when I'm trying, and Duolingo is a great example, or if you're, let's say, learning to do something that you can do on the fly. But when I run or I'm out for a ruck, that's an excellent time because it's in your mind. You may not necessarily have the most intense focus because you're also trying not to fall down while you're doing it. But the act of movement actually helps create those neural pathways, and it will help you retain and also come up with more creative solutions to whatever it is that you're learning. So also I would encourage people, when they're looking at their essential actions list, and especially if you're short on time, what two things maybe can go together that you can knock out in one action, but still move forward towards maybe a physical component that you're working towards and learning a new skill or a mindset.
Yeah, that's really good. I do a lot of stuff when I work out. It's actually when I consume. I know a lot of people, a lot of successful people, they're trying to combine things. I tend to make a lot of calls while I'm in the car, but I know a lot of people will listen to like audiobooks, things like that. Just taking kind of what you said and maybe not even the physicality of it, but just changing environments, going from your office to, downstairs to the kitchen. For me, sometimes I'll just take off my shoes and I'll go ground and I'll sit on the patio and I'll just get sunshine for 10 minutes, listen to the birds, try not to melt in the sun, right? Whatever it is, but at least I'll be able to get out of my own current environment, get my body shifting, get my mind in a different place. And that really doesn't fully reset it, but it makes you, again, pay attention. And this is why, I know we've talked about kind of autonomous behavior in some of our past long forms that we've done, but this is exactly why it's really important. It's like when you're stationary and you're just doing the same thing and you're just staring at a screen and you're just taking phone calls and emails or whatever, your body just starts to like kind of close in around you. So does your mind. You're just like, I'm just in this. It becomes monotonous. When you get up, you go to the water cooler, right? And you talk to somebody new, you get off your phone, you walk outside, you go take a walk around the block. All that stuff resets your mind and your body. And I know that's pretty common practice, but it's good to reiterate because I liked exactly what you said, like combining them, but also doing it in a way where you are paying attention and you're not just doing something new in the same environment, because that's not going to have as great of an impact.
No, and I think that's a great point. The more self-aware people become, like I can feel the soul being sucked out of me when I sit in half-hour meetings for 7 or 8 hours straight. Your body literally doesn't have the ability to have as much mental capacity, to come up with creative solutions, navigate uncomfortable conversations, critically think when you are forced, stationary position, 30-minute time block, and you're constantly changing topics. I think that's really hard. If that is someone's reality, which it is probably for a lot of people, even just find 1 or 2 during your day where you can say, hey, I'm going to stand up and move while we take this call. Find someone that you're comfortable with. Maybe it's a peer that you have a meeting with. You can still get the work that you need done, but just get up and move. Take a lap around the office. Head out for a block. Sit on your deck. To your point, we underestimate how much a change in scenery actually will reset your brain to re-engage and be more focused and effective.
Yeah, 100%. No, that was great. And so, I'm going to keep sharing this. It's something that you asked about new talents, new skill sets. This is something that really came top of mind. I'm doing it every single day. I've been doing it now for about 2 weeks. I really like my list, but I've already seen, I look forward to it now because, just something like that where it's like, how do you shift from a negative perspective to a positive perspective? Well, you focus on going to look for the good things. You look for what you've accomplished, right? It's almost like that vision board where you are highlighting your accomplishments. You've got your great reels. You've got the things that you're really proud of yourself. It's doing that on a daily basis. Again, it's different from blessings. It's different than gratitude. It's more of, hey, where did you really spend your time? And then what did you see all the way through and fully accomplish? And that to me has been something really powerful. So I've definitely noticed timing makes a significant difference in my day. What do I block it with in the beginning of the day and at the end of the day? And then what can I do in between that time to reset and just make sure that, number 1, I'm on track for my essential action list. But number 2, I'm not letting things linger and carry throughout my day. I'm actually being intentional with my time, my energy, and really where I'm putting my focus.
Yeah, absolutely. And for people that are maybe listening and they're like, I don't even know where to get started, figuring out how to do the top 5 things. It can be as simple as just reviewing your essential actions list before you go to bed, because those actually are the things that are supposed to be moving you forward. So pull it up, look at all the things that you've checked off for the day, and remind yourself how those are actually moving you forward, and then go from there and build out even longer lists or even more detailed lists.
That's great. Truer words have never been spoken. Wonderful.
All right.
Well, I loved it. Looking forward to next week already.
Sounds good. All right. Thanks, Nate.
See ya.